This is Nigeria Today. We'll begin in the nation's capital, where the Nigeria Labour Congress has continued its protest over the prolonged strike by university workers and the closure of the nation's public universities. The mega rally in Abuja is coming a day after NLC holds nationwide protests to draw the attention of government to the lingering Asuu strike and its effect on Nigerian students. NLC dismissed insinuations the gathering was to discredit the ruling government to Labour Party's advantage, but claimed that the aim was to support the protracted strike embarked upon by the Academic Staff Union of Universities, which has now lasted for more than 5 months. TVC News correspondent Adisa reports.
After Tuesday's rally across the states, the Nigeria Labour Congress on Wednesday led the 4 unions and the universities to register their displeasure over the over 5-month-old strike. Security presence was visible following intelligence reports of a likely infiltration of the protest by some undesirable elements. From the Unity Fountain through the streets of Abuja to the Federal Secretariat and finally to the National Assembly, the message was clear.
The rally has shown that Nigerian people now realize what is happening. Nigerian workers, Nigerian parents, even Nigerian students have realized what's happening.
We've signed agreements, and in that agreement, there is a portion where it says that after every 3 years, we must renegotiate.
If you say OSAS is not good enough, how about U3PS? If you say U3PS is not good enough, how about if they merge them and they become one?
We have insecurity, gender-based violence that is going on. Nobody is saying something. If you cannot govern, resign.
At the National Assembly, the leadership of the Parliament formally received a letter from the NLC detailing its demands.
We have a documented complaint that have captured all the issues we have stated and what we expect of the Parliament. If before now they have not looked at the issue as a serious issue, we want the Parliament of the Nigerian people, to take this issue very seriously. No civilized country in the world where students in the university will be away from classroom for 5 months, not to talk of 8 months, not to talk of months more. So we are with you.
Ayub Bawaba describes as baseless reports that the protest was politically motivated.
Is it a serious issue? Does it call for action? Have NLC not mediated behind the scene? Have NLC not tried to resolve the issue? That is the issue. So basically, it's about diverting our attention. Nigerian workers cannot be divided. The attention cannot be diverted.
All the university-based unions led by the Nigeria Labour Congress have spoken in one voice. The expectation arising from this mega rally is that the federal government will ensure the reopening of the public universities by meeting the demands of the striking university workers. And in the event that this fails, NLC says a nationwide strike becomes inevitable. Adisa, TVC News, Abuja.
In the meantime, the Senate Minority Caucus has issued a 6-week ultimatum to President Muhammadu Buhari to tackle the security challenges facing the country. The lawmakers have threatened to begin impeachment proceedings against the president if he fails to address insecurity within the period. The minority senators also staged a walkout at today's plenary over a failed attempt to impeach the president on the state of the nation, particularly on the issue of insecurity. This development comes as one of the recent concerns and threat to security in major parts of the country. In Ondo State, the commander, Western Security Network Agency, codenamed Amotekun Corps, Adetunji Adeleye, has again stressed the need for owners of public places to install CCTV cameras as directed by the state government. Mr. Adeleye spoke at the training and resumption of camp of the 400 men and officers of the Corps held at the Government Technical College in Owo. Hayodeji Muradio was there.
This fresh recruitment into the Ondo State Security Agency, codenamed Amotekun Corps, is aimed at boosting security in the state. 400 men and officers scaled the hurdles after rigorous screening and selection process for candidates from the 18 local government areas of the state. After undergoing necessary medical tests, they were addressed by the state commander of the corps, Adetoji Adeleye.
Very few are glorified.
The Amotekun commander urged them to uplift the agency and show greater commitment towards ending crimes in the state. Mr. Adeleye said the command will not tolerate any act of indiscipline that will tarnish the image of the corps.
Amotekun job is not a job for ordinary job seekers. It is for those that have passion. If your purpose of coming to join Amotekun is to make money, you are in the wrong place. And the door is open for you. Before we boot you out.
The Amotekun commander also appealed to owners of public places, including churches and mosques, to install CCTV cameras in their premises. According to him, the CCTV in the environment must be functional in order to assist security agencies to track criminals.
The moment you have CCTV installed all over public places, you see the consciousness, even to criminals, that they will be noticed, identified, seen, will deter a lot of them. And to those of them that are deterrent, we can assure you that with all these devices, we'll get good hold of them. So I want to appeal to members of the public that despite the harsh economic situation, they should strive to adhere strictly to the deadline as given by the government that all public places must have CCTV installed, and this CCTV must be functional.
The 400 new recruits are expected to undergo 1-month training before they will be deployed for the task ahead. Adeji Morade, your TVC News.
Staying in Ondo, where officials of the National Drug Law Enforcement Agency have arrested a 25-year-old man, Destiny Agbajo, with 2 guns and cartridges along Oreo-Kitipupa Road. The state commandant of the NDLEA, Kayode Raji, who operated the suspect in Akure, said the suspect was arrested during a stop-and-search operation. Mr. Raji said the suspect was arrested with 1 AK-47, 1 pump-action, 91 bullets of 5.56 millimeters, 16 cartridges, and a cash of 347,000 naira. The commandant said his command had concluded its preliminary investigation and would hand over the suspect to the Nigerian police for further action. But the suspect told newsmen he got the bag containing the ammunition inside the bush in one village in Bayelsa.
He was arrested with AK-47. He was arrested with this AK-47. And the breech number we discovered had been tampered with. But in the magazine has color inscription that looks like the Nigeria Police Force. He was arrested with 3 magazines. He was also arrested with with a pump action and some quantities of ammunition.
Saw them in Bayelsa State, the place where I'm working, the bush. I see them for bush. I looked the nylon bag with the wrap. I saw this thing. After I walked the timber finish, I carry them to go my village.
And in Delta, the Nigeria Security and Civil Defense Corps has arrested 4 persons conveying illegally refined automated gas oil in Warri. The operatives impounded 6 tanker trucks with illegal products at loading point. Ekina Amechi has more.
Acting on information, personnel of the NLCDC Commandant General Special Intelligence Corps discovered a loading point in Odorubu, waterside in Patani local government area of Delta State, where these 6 tankers and trucks have already been loaded with stolen and illegally refined petroleum products suspected to be automated gasoline oil.
Upon coming down to the scene, it was discovered that these crude thieves carry out their nefarious activities with the aid of a very large hose, which is hidden inside that bush, using to siphon stolen crude, stolen AGO, automated gasoline oil into several tanks which you've seen along the road, numbering over 6, loaded with AGO, automated gasoline oil. Upon sighting the men, they took to their heels into the bush.
In Warri, these 4 suspects were arrested for conveying the illegal petroleum products concealed in these 25-litre polythene sacks.
That is how they used to sack it. And I bought it from the main market.
It's just that I don't have a job. I've been at home for over 13 years now after I finished my university. And I'm doing some other job by doing bricklayer and other things to sustain my home. But what to do? I see other people doing it.
State Commandant of the Corps says the operation will continue until the whole state is rid of this criminality of oil thefts.
Our Commandant General has come out with a new strategy. The Special Intelligence Court, he sent it to states and they arrived a few days ago. And that's what the outcome of this, what you have seen there. But we will teach them lesson because there are other profitable legal duty for them to do. Government has rolled out a lot of programs for them to do, and they will not allow somebody to take advantage of the situation on ground that the economy is bad, the economic is bad.
The detained suspects are already undergoing investigation and will be charged to court as efforts to arrest other fleeing suspects has intensified. Ikenna Amechi, TVC News, Warri, Delta State.
You're watching Nigeria Today. Experts and stakeholders are divided over whether the federal government should fund the switch over from analog to digital television broadcast in Nigeria. The debate came to the fore at a 3-day retreat organized by the National Broadcasting Commission for stakeholders in the broadcast industry in Lagos. Correspondent Ademola Lawrence reports.
Nigeria embarked on a journey towards digital terrestrial television broadcasting on the 17th of June 2006. Following the deadline of the 15th of June 2015, set by the International Telecommunications Union (ITU) for member countries to transit from analog to digital television broadcasts. But the challenge of switching from analog to digital television broadcast has been humongous for the country, with stakeholders in the industry at loggerheads over how best to realize it. The issue came up for discussion at these management retreats organized by the National Broadcasting Commission (NBC) for stakeholders involved in the switchover from analog to digital. Experts delivered presentations on how this can be achieved by giving suggestions on ways to actualize the digital switchover. For the NBC, it will be difficult for the federal government to fund the switchover alone.
The government is no more ready to fund this project. It's a commercial project. Of course, initially government did fund the project in billions. And now it's time for those stakeholders to look inward.
So many things are competing attention before the government. And therefore, for that reason, government may not be able to muster enough funds to fund the DSO.
But stakeholders suggested that while private-public partnership is inevitable, government will still have to fund the project.
Government must, at this time, migrate from analog to digital and take the bold step, which is what to do. You must fund it. Issue of private sector will not work. Nobody's going to fund the DSO. That migration, we cannot complete 5G. We cannot do pure internet penetration. Broadband will not complete without the migration. So government understand that.
Digital is the way to go, and government needs to fund it. Not necessarily, budgeting for it. That's already when you move out of this, spectrum, you can be sold, and money will definitely come out. So the money is there. It's only that you need to do what you need to do to get the money out of it.
For many here, the federal government needs to create strict policies and regulations to sustain the feat. If actualized, while the NBC is expected to be more proactive in creating the needed awareness. Ademola Lawrence, TVC News, Lagos.
Nigerian pharmacists are seeking amendments to the National Health Insurance Act, particularly the part which empowers the physician to be prescriber and dispenser of drugs at the same time. This formed part of the discourse at the 41st National Scientific Conference of the Association of Community Pharmacists of Nigeria. in Lagos. Sarah Yeko was there.
These are community pharmacists drawn from the FCT and 36 states of the Federation. They have converged on Lagos to deliberate on contemporary issues affecting the practice of pharmacy and matters related to the health and well-being of Nigerians. The theme for this year's conference, Never Waste a Crisis, Community Pharmacists Learning for Future Preparedness, reflects on the impact of the COVID-19 pandemic on the health sector.
Therefore, be counting on ACPN to mobilize its members to rapidly increase the uptake of COVID-19 vaccine in the communities, while promoting other PHC services in their community pharmacies by leveraging their influence. Although there has been notable improvement in the vaccine uptake, the current reality of low-risk perception simply means that more energy needs to be injected into partnerships like ours to ramp up COVID-19 vaccine uptake.
The pharmacists are asking the federal government to include them as primary healthcare providers and reverse what they refer to as obnoxious capitation in the National Health Insurance Scheme.
What we are saying is that when the appropriate persons diagnose the physicians, then the person who should cancel on drugs and dispense drugs should be the pharmacist.
The laws of Nigeria says that it is illegal to fulfill prescription in places that are not registered by the Pharmacists Council of Nigeria. But yet, under the National Health Insurance Scheme, the one that we have just passed before this National Health Insurance Act was signed into bill was signed into law, that scheme was obnoxious, it was anti-progressive, and it is not in the interest of community pharmacists in Nigeria.
The association wants the National Assembly and the Presidency to expedite the signing of the pharmacy bill. Sarah Ayeku, TVC News, Lagos.
In other news, Imo State Governor Hope Uzodinma has flagged off the construction of two major but dilapidated federal roads that link the state and neighboring Anambra and Abia states. The governor at the flag off said the roads will be completed in good time. TVC's Prince Oba reports.
The 22-kilometer Olu Mbe Akokwa Oga Road and 46-kilometer Owerri Mbise Umuahia Road are federal roads but have been neglected by previous administrations. But succor may now have come to the road users as the state government promised to complete the roads in record time. According to the governor, the administration is committed to addressing critical needs of the people for rapid economic growth.
This road is one of the most strategic economic stimulation roads. This is the road that connects the whole of this zone and region to Uga, to Nnewi, and to Enugu, to Onitsha. This road will enable our port traders move their banana, their garri, their yam to Nnewi market and back. It is an economic road. It is a road that has been abandoned for years by the previous administration.
Governor Uzodinma spoke on how the roads will be funded for speedy completion.
We must thank President Muhammad Buhari, who approved the tax credit for oil companies to fund this road. So we are starting this road today, but oil companies will pay. And the federal government, they will be deducting the money from the taxes they are supposed to pay to federal government. But the take-off money, pending when the processes are completed, will be funded by Imo State government.
This road is called a federal road, but today it's a state road. Because his people are the ones suffering here. He decided to do this job for us. Wonderful. I am so happy to be part of this government.
Good road is good governance. A good road makes a state or a city to be well developed. More economy will come, people will come for an investment. Foreign people will come in because the roads are good.
The governor admitted that the projects will be very expensive, but added that the government has a cash management plan and a segmented funding system that will enable gradual completion of the projects. Prince Oba, TVC News, Owerri.
And that's Nigeria Today.